And staying informed starts with taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally. Carving out time for self-care isn't just important, it is essential. So joining us now to talk about this is Dr. Tara Chalakani, who is the CEO of Preferred Behavioral Healthcare and co-host of the WellOff Podcast. Good to have you on this morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Ken. Good to be here.
You bet. Well, what does "you can't pour from an empty cup" mean to you, and why is that so important for everybody to keep in mind?
Well, that is our mantra that we live by at Preferred Behavioral Health Group. But essentially is you cannot take care of another person. You can't show up for work and be 100% if you are not taking care of yourself and recharging your batteries. And that looks different for a number of people. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions that people have is that there's one path to happiness. There's one path to self care. And it doesn't mean getting a massage or doing something expensive. It could just be going outside every day on your break for lunch, breathing fresh air for 10 minutes, getting natural light on your face. It doesn't have to be anything extraordinary. And this month is Depression Awareness Month. So we want to really send the message home that we need to pay attention to how we're feeling and really take care of ourselves.
So in today's busy lifestyle, so many people have so many things going on. You have working parents with kids and pets. And so what are some simple, realistic ways that people can manage stress in their day-to-day lives?
Well, I think we need to know our limits and start by sometimes it's as easy, Ken, as creating a schedule and sticking to it and not letting anything else distract you from that. Because I find that people feel overwhelmed, they feel they have too much on their plates. And I know myself when I'm working with a client or a patient one on one, there's always something that they can give up to inject a few moments of peace into their day, even if it's picking up a book and reading a few pages or watching something on Netflix, whatever it is that makes you happy and gets you disconnected and distracted, that's what you need to do more of. Because it seems like we don't have enough time. But if you take even 10 minutes to go for a walk, call a friend that makes you laugh, it will feel as if you've added hours into your day.
Dr. Chalakani, I have to ask you about, we just had the story about politics, and I hate to drag, I'm not going to ask you politically, but in terms of politics impacting people's moods and their stresses, and you see it on the right and the left, people just going into their respective corners and not budging and saying, well, I'll never talk to that person again. And how do you talk to people about not making politics the everything in their lives and just toning it down so that people can get back to being calm and living their lives and realizing that politics has a place, but it shouldn't be the epicenter of our lives?
For sure. And I'm glad that you brought it up because it is a timely subject. And there's so much research being done now and so much data that supports that people are feeling traumatized by politics and that it's tearing families apart and friendships. But everything has its place. And I know that a lot of people now, even my own clients, like I said, are coming in and talking about politics and how do we navigate this in our lives and our relationships. All relationships can have healthy boundaries. And I think if we communicate effectively, because that's another key element of healthy relationships and healthy mental health, is that we tell people up front, I love you, I respect you, but let's keep politics at the door. Right. And let's not bring them into holiday meals, let's not bring them into family celebrations. The other piece is we have to go on a diet with following politics the same way we do eating sugary and salty snacks. We have to limit our exposure, know what you need to know. But I know people that are keeping the news on whatever channel it is, whatever you follow, it's on in their homes 24/7. That's not healthy. So I think we need to put ourselves on a diet. We need to limit exposure, know what you need to know, maybe get, one email alert every day with the top news, know what you need to know to be an informed adult citizen, and then move on because it's becoming very toxic. And we all know nothing good happens in extremes. So, whether it's politics or whether anything, extremes are never good. We need to have middle ground, and we need to be able to meet in the middle, to talk and to compromise and to do what's best for everyone involved.
Yeah, doctor, I was if I may say, a champion debater in high school. The main thing you were taught to be a champion debater is you have to listen to the other side and learn what the other side not only thinks, but how they think and how they feel and why. That makes you a better debater. And I think that's what's missing. We're yelling at each other instead of just listening. Maybe there's a very, very, very valid reason why the other person thinks entirely differently from you. Just aren't you even that curious to find out why they think that? Listen to them. And maybe even if you still at the end of the day have two totally opposite views, at least you can have the empathy of understanding, well, I get why he feels this way. I get why she feels this way. And at least you could agree to disagree and still love each other and understand that it's okay. Listen, there are lots of things I'm sure in your family you don't agree on, foods, what kind of pet you like, whatever. In my family, the same thing. It doesn't have to come down to the polarization and the hate and the cutting people out of their lives. And I'm so glad you said that to have a diet about that and just cut, like we tell kids, you have limits on your screen time. I think limits on your politics time should be the rule for adults.
For sure. And it's just as impactful and negative to our health as adults as it is for kids. Screen time, watching too much of anything. But Ken, I'm going to make you an honorary therapist because you brought up a lot of great points that we have to approach people with curiosity and not criticism. And we have to keep that curiosity so that we can seek to understand, because miscommunication is one of the biggest reasons why people have discord and have failed relationships. And we don't want that. We want a healthy state, we want a healthy nation, but the only thing we can control is ourselves. So taking care of ourselves, going on that news diet, and approaching people with kindness and curiosity is a great start.
I should say, Dr. Tara, miscommunication was my drag name in college, but that's a whole other story, another show. Uh, Uh, so at what point do you think, doctor, though, when should, seriously, I'm sorry, I had to do that. At what point do you think people should, though, seek professional help? And I have gone, and I talked about this on the show many times, even when you've been on in the past. I've gone through therapy many times in my life. I
Mhm.
proudly talk about it. Too many people think it's shameful. And it's just ridiculous. Therapy and counseling, that shows that you I think have a more mature view of yourself and where you stand in the world, and that sometimes we all need to talk to somebody. So at what point do you think people should talk to somebody professionally?
Well, Ken, there's never a wrong time to get therapy. And it doesn't have to be because something is wrong. It could just be because you're in a great place and you want to be a better person, or you want to dig a little deeper and have a better understanding of self and people. But if that's not your story, you need to pay attention. Are you having a lot of discord, a lot of arguments, a lot of tension with people around you? Are you irritable? Are you having trouble sleeping? Is, the thoughts of politics or what have you, is it consuming you? Because remember, we never want to live in extremes. We need to stay balanced, and that means everything: diet, exercise, sleep, our relationships with others. So when in doubt, give Preferred Behavioral Health a call. We're here to serve all of New Jersey, and no one should have to suffer alone. We all could use support, and a little help goes a long way.
How do people reach out to you? What's a website or a phone number, doctor?
Website is preferredbehavioral.org. All of our information is there: phone numbers, blogs, resources. We're here to help. And like I said, when in doubt, give us a call. There's always someone a phone call away. We can answer your question, point you in the right direction, and get you where you need to be.
There you go. Well, I'm not even going to talk about when I was in high school and I played the part of misconception, but that's going to be another show. I promise. We will do that
Oh,
show. Dr. Tara Chalakani, who's the CEO of Preferred Behavioral Healthcare and co-host of the WellOff Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's always a treasure and a pleasure to have you on. Have a wonderful
great
day.
to see you. Thanks, Ken.
You bet.